Welcome in. It's playoff time. It's Nick Payne, the Face Mask Podcast. The fantasy playoffs, those are over. We're talking NFL playoffs today. Whether you wrapped everything up in week 16 or you're in one of those weird leagues that plays until week 17, regardless, that is done. We flipped the page. The stakes just got a little bit higher. Wild card weekend is upon us. And this year, we get 2 extra games. 2 seed this year in each conference will play wild card weekend. They will host the lowest seeded. The 7th team, 7 teams in each conference make the playoffs this year. And that'll be the case moving forward. First playoff change for the NFL, I think, since the divisional realignment in the early 2000s. So extra game each on Saturday and Sunday to bring it to 3 each total. It's going to make for an awesome weekend of football. And you know what that means. DFS is not over. And that's what we're going to focus on for the remainder of the playoffs. Obviously, our offseason work has already begun behind the scenes, and we look forward to bringing you all of that content. But first, it's fun to have a little skin in the game. And that's what the playoffs are. That's the opportunity they present for everybody. So I'm going to focus on some breaking down the Saturday slate today. Tomorrow on Tuesday, I'll take a look at the Sunday slate. And then later in the week, keep it here, keep an eye out, both on the website and on our platforms. There will be DFS breakdowns for Wild Card Weekend with my suggestions to set your lineup. So before we do that, I think it makes sense to break down the situation, the matchups a little bit for each day, and go from there. So I want to take a look at the Saturday slate. We got 3 games. I'm so happy that I can say we got 3 games instead of 2 each day. It's going to make for fun football. Opening game on Saturday. The Buffalo Bills, the 2 seed, host the 7 seed Indianapolis Colts. Now, I don't know if anybody's wondering, well, why are the Bills, they're the 2 seed, why are they playing the first game? The NFL often schedules higher seeds to play earlier in the early rounds with the idea of the higher seeds are expected to advance. So if they do, in fact, win, they get that little extra rest time than over their opponent, whoever they would play in the divisional round. So the Bills get the first game on Saturday. And this makes for a really intriguing matchup, specifically when the Bills offense is on the field against the Colts defense. Bills have an elite offense. The Colts have an upper echelon defense. So this is strength on strength right here. It's going to make for a really exciting chess match. I would think, between Sean McDermott and Frank Reich. I think the Colts are they're a good team, and they will be in this game because of their defense. But man, Buffalo has one of the most electric offenses in the NFL this year. Josh Allen is playing like a top 2 quarterback. He's got this offense humming. They are moving the ball down the field. They are driving and scoring on everyone. I mean, last 4 games, just week 17, they smoked the Dolphins. They put 56 on them. Essentially ended the Dolphin season. But even before that, the 3 games before that, they put 26 on the Steelers, who most would argue probably have the best defense in the NFL. So they got 20 plus on them. They dropped 48 on Denver, and they dropped 38 on New England. This offense is humming right now. And then, of course, the 56 explosion. Some backups were involved in that, but the starters set the tone in the first half. I have a hard time believing the Colts are going to be able to fully stop this offense. As good as they are, and they're a good overall unit, I would be surprised if the Bills aren't able to, for the most part, win their matchups on offense. Now, on the flip side, when the Colts are on offense and the Bills are on defense, there is one weakness that the Colts might be able to exploit, and that is that the Bills have been pretty suspect, and that might be generous, stopping the run this year. And it just so happens that Colts rookie running back Jonathan Taylor looks to be peaking at the right time. He's been electric the second half of the season. There were questions early. Is this a full-blown committee with Nyheim Hines and Jordan Wilkins? Maybe for a couple of weeks in the beginning or in the middle of the season it was, but this is Taylor's backfield now. He looks phenomenal, and the Bills need to make him priority number one on defense. If you stop Jonathan Taylor, you're probably going to be able to keep Phillip Rivers in check. But Taylor is the one concern I would say the Bills have in this matchup. Overall, there's, Jonathan Taylor, I would say, is maybe the player I like the most in this game, just because the matchup so clearly favors him. The one thing that is maybe moving against him is game script. I do expect the Bills to win this game. I do expect the Bills to be throwing the ball with success. Maybe not as much success as they're accustomed to, just because, again, you have to respect this Colts defense, but they've been a little bit more leaky, giving up production to wide receivers. They're elite against tight ends, and they're very strong at stopping the run. So while I like the Bills offense as a whole, I'm probably going to fade a good amount of them in this game. Now, Josh Allen, he's too good to ignore. If you want to intend to play him this week, the one thing I'll say there is I'm not sure that his DFS price is going to match the production. Remember, it's a playoff game. If the Bills are winning this game, they may try to run the ball a little bit more than they usually do, but they haven't had a whole lot of success, the Bills have, running the ball this year. So, Josh Allen, again, might have to be the best running back on the team. So Allen's upside is there. I would say the player I like the most on the Bills offense is Stephon Diggs. Like I said, the Colts secondary has been giving up more production to wide receivers recently. Cole Beasley's dealing with an injury. John Brown looked good week 17, but he missed a good amount of time with hamstring injuries. So he's healthy now, I think, but they're going to rely on the Bills, their number one receiver in this playoff game. So Diggs is safe. I think he's a safe chalk play. Whether there are better values to be found, we'll get into that. But for the Bills, Allen is fine, and I definitely like Diggs in this game. On the Colts side, there's a good number of players I actually like on this offense, strictly because I think the Colts are going to be playing catch up. And even if they're not, they're going to have to stay aggressive on offense to stay in this game because the Bills are elite throwing the ball. So that being said, I like the Colts backfield this week. I think Jonathan Taylor and Nyheim Hines are both viable plays. Taylor being the obvious choice. But again, if they're trailing, the Colts are going to mix Hines in more than usual. And he's going to be catching passes. And that, bodes well for a sneaky floor play at worst. So both running backs are viable. I also think, I like Zach Pascal in this game because I would expect Tre'Davious White will be covering T.Y. Hilton. So not sure I like T.Y. Hilton this week. Pascal has come on strong this year and ended the season hot. Had another touchdown week 17. So I would imagine he gets plenty of looks in this game. It's going to be a tough spot for the Colts, but I do think points can be scored on both sides. That being said, there are some players I'm lukewarm on. Probably going to fade Rivers. It's just the volume might be there, but will the production actually come through? We'll see. Same goes for T.Y. If he's being shadowed by Tre'Davious White, probably not something I'm interested in. The Bills running backs, the Colts are phenomenal stopping the run, and the Bills have not been very good running it this year. So Devin Singletary, Zach Moss, it's a total toss-up. One of them, maybe Moss is the trendier pick. He catches passes, maybe he scores, but it's tough to rely on either of those guys. The same can be said for Dawson Knox. I think the Colts are also excellent against the tight end. They have outstanding linebackers. This would not be the week where I suggest streaming a player like Dawson Knox. As good as he's looked and has been, and obviously he's tied to Allen, who is playing phenomenally right now. I think this situation is a bit of a downgrade for him. Could he come through? Sure. I think the Bills are going to score plenty of points in this game, and I expect them to win. But you have to respect the Colts defense. They're going to be coming in, doing what they can to shut down this elite passing offense. Will they have success? I'm not sure, but they have proven throughout the year this is a defense that you cannot take lightly. It should be a good matchup. Moving on, the later game, or it's the afternoon game because we have a night game because 3 games. It's awesome. The afternoon game, divisional NFC West tilt between the Rams and the Seahawks. This matchup always feels like it's kind of sloppy in the regular season. I feel like every time I see the Rams and Seahawks hook up, the final score is like 9-6, 15-12, or something weird like that. It's usually a game where the defenses have played better and the offenses seem to struggle. That's, again, we say this all the time. That's what happens with division games. They are weird. And I wouldn't be surprised if this game turns out to be weird either. Seattle's offense has not been very good, not been very efficient in recent weeks. That especially is the case for Russell Wilson. He has cooled off since he started off the 2020 regular season on absolute fire, and right now he's not playing on fire. It's been a struggle in recent weeks. This offense has not been as good. The same can kind of be said, though, for the Rams. They're limping into the postseason. They've lost, I think, 3 of 4 to end the season. They didn't have Jared Goff for Week 17. Maybe he plays. They didn't have Cooper Kupp because of the COVID protocols. He might play. He hasn't been cleared yet. So this is kind of a sloppy situation for both offenses. I'm not expecting a ton of points to be scored in this game. Like I said, if it was like 14-10 or some weird low score, 10, 15-9 or 17-10 or some, I just don't think there's going to be a ton of points scored in this game. And I'm not sure if it's going to be a credit to the defense. It's just a matter of these teams always seem to play sloppy against each other. That being said, I do like Cam Akers this week. This is not the Seattle defense of old. This is not the Legion of Boom. Seattle gives up production to opposing running backs, and the Rams have full-on committed to Akers down the stretch. So just based on volume alone, I think Akers could absolutely come through. Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp. Let's see if Kupp plays. Let's see if Goff plays. If Goff plays, I definitely think Robert Woods can come through. With the Rams being the road team in this game, they're going to be throwing the ball. And again, this Seattle defense is not a shutdown group. So I would definitely like Robert Woods if Goff is back. Let's check on Cooper Kupp. I also like, I'll just stick with the Rams. The defense might be a decent play. I can't imagine the Rams are going to cost that much having to go on the road to play Russell Wilson. But again, I think the matchup should be in their favor to get a few sacks. Russell Wilson's always among the league leaders and in quarterbacks as far as sacks taken. He is again in 2020. This Seahawks offensive line is not very spectacular. And the Rams defense can get after the quarterback. So the Rams defense might be an interesting plug in this game, depending on let's check their value going into the weekend. But if they're not too overpriced, this could be a sneaky good grab. As far as the Seahawks go, it's hard to endorse their passing game right now. I'm probably going to fade not only Russ, but DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. Metcalf is going to see a lot of Jalen Ramsey. So Metcalf could come through, but you got to temper expectations. And with DFS, I don't want to temper expectations with anybody. I'm looking for the upside. So Metcalf, Lockett, Not sure I want to, depending on what their prices are going to be, this could be a tough matchup. Who I could get behind is Chris Carson on the Seahawks. I think Seattle will commit to running the ball for better or worse. I'm not necessarily saying I would agree with that approach, but if your quarterback is struggling, this is the playoffs. This is winner take all, loser go home. So Seattle's bread and butter for years under Pete Carroll has been the running game. They did throw with more efficiency and more volume than they ever have in 2020. But, given the trends of this matchup in the past, it wouldn't shock me to see Chris Carson get some decent volume in this game. And with volume, he could come through. That's all you need as a running back. So we'll check back on the Seahawks offense later in the week. But right now, if Jared Goff plays, this could be an upset. This could be a sneaky good spot for the Rams. Not sure how many points I like in this game. Not sure how many players I'm going to advocate for in lineups in this game. But if you're interested in upsets, this could be the one. Moving on to the night game. Hard to expect an upset in this situation. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are absolutely on fire. You want to talk about on fire right now. That's the Tampa Bay passing offense. The WFT, the 7-9 Washington football team. Congratulations, Washington. You are the crown of you are the kings of maybe the worst division in the history of the NFL. So the 7-9 Washington football team will host Tampa Bay. And I think there might be a lot of points scored on one side in here. The chalk is going to be this week the entire Tampa Bay offense. Tom Brady, Chris Godwin, Antonio Brown. Let's see what happens with Mike Evans. He exited Week 17 with a knee injury, and it did not look great. I mean, I think he walked off. There was an MRI already that showed no ligament damage, which is, if he does, this offense is probably going to be full systems go. Even if he doesn't play, I expect the Bucs to have plenty of success, not many problems moving the ball up and down the field. Even though this Washington defense is pretty respectable, and they are, especially their defensive line. Washington's offense, I'm not sure they're going to be able to get anything going. So there could be a situation where there's short fields for Tampa Bay, and all they need to do is hit on one bomb play, and that flips the field. This Bucs offense is rolling right now. 30-plus points, probably the expectation at this point. With the way Antonio Brown has integrated into the offense, Chris Godwin looks like he might be healthy. End of the season starting to look like the Chris Godwin of 2019. That's bad for opposing defenses. And then, of course, we gotta check the status of Mike Evans. That being said, I like the whole Bucs passing offense this week. Not interested in the Washington defense at all. Not really interested in the Washington offense either. This Tampa Bay defense has overall been very good. Their sack rate is top 5 in the NFL. Their turnover rate is top 5 in the NFL. So this defense makes plays and creates problems for their opponents. Washington is not a sophisticated offense. All the kudos in the world to Alex Smith on his recovery. But this is a pretty brutal spot. You're talking about a 39-year-old quarterback at this point coming off, a major injury that nearly ended his career. There were times where the leg was in jeopardy of being amputated, and because of the infections, his life was sometimes in jeopardy. So, salute to Alex Smith. Let there be no doubt there. But there's no way you can trust this Washington offense against this good Bucs defense. Maybe they're not great, but they're definitely good. They've been proven this year at this point that they make plays. So I would expect that to happen in this game at least once. So as much as, I love the future of Terry McLaurin, I love the future of Antonio Gibson. It's going to be hard to get back. Maybe McLaurin is an interesting play because Washington is probably going to be playing catch up this entire game. So they could be throwing more. Logan Thomas absolutely could be involved. But it's going to be hard. It's a hard sell, especially Thomas with those linebackers. Going to be a hard sell on any Washington offensive players this week. I expect the Bucs to win. I don't know if they'll win big. Playoff games typically bring out the best in both sides, but guess what? That doesn't mean the blowouts don't still happen. They do. This could be one of those games. Washington made it. Congrats to them. They get to host the home playoff game. Not sure that matters all that much in this situation. Tom Brady is on fire right now. If Mike Evans plays, it's going to be too much firepower, I think, for Washington to stop. And even if Evans doesn't play, I would still expect the Bucs to win. So I can see 30 points, 30 or more for the Bucs. I'm not sure Washington scores more than 14-17, excluding maybe a garbage time score here or there. So game script favors pass catchers for Washington, but this is not a scenario where I put too much stock in that. I think they're going to overall struggle. It's not a good offense. It's not a good team in general. Their defense is respectable, but that's kind of where the compliments stop. This is still very much a team that is trying to build for the future, not trying to win right now. So Bucs passing offense is going to be chalk. Ronald Jones he should get the volume, especially the game script should favor him. I expect the Bucs to be leading in this game for most, if not all of it. So Jones should be involved. The Bucs offense will be a good one to pounce on in the Saturday slate. We'll keep an eye on Evans's value. So Antonio Brown and Chris Godwin might be some decent early week grabs in the event that their price may go up if Evans is ruled out. So if you feel good about Godwin or Antonio Brown, maybe put the lineup together now and plug both of them in. Because if Evans is ruled out, I would have to imagine their price goes up. If Evans plays, again, any three of them, all three of them could go off. So we'll keep an eye on the Bucs offense. That's probably the one most likely to target, but we'll keep an eye on the values. So I think the Bills are going to win. Game script would favor Colts pass catchers in that situation. I think the Rams could maybe sneak in an upset. I don't know that there's too many points scored in that game. Could be kind of I don't know if snooze fest is the right word, but points could be at a premium in that game. And then it wouldn't shock me if the Bucs rolled over on they steamrolled Washington. So we'll plan accordingly. We will have the content and our suggestions and picks for you later in the week, and we'll be breaking down the Sunday slate tomorrow. Until then, I'm excited. I hope you are too. The NFL playoffs are upon us. Let's get it going.